Earlier today, the Republican presidential candidates clashed in their first party debate for the 2024 presidential race. One noticeable absence, frontrunner Donald Trump. He instead sat down with Tucker Carlson, the former Fox News host. Let's bring in now the Australian's Washington correspondent, Adam Creighton. Adam, what was your takeout from this Republican debate? I watched most of it on Fox News. Were there any standouts to you?
Well, look, the standout probably was that Donald Trump actually won the debate, even though he wasn't there. And the reason for that is that there was no standout amongst the 8 people on the stage. There was a lot of bickering and sniping, as you'd expect, back and forth, but there was no clear winner. Certainly, Ron DeSantis, the Florida governor, the number 2, if you like, the person closest to Trump, although still many, many points behind, he didn't really have a fantastic night. It certainly wasn't a game changer for him. I mean, he did well, he didn't do terribly, but it wasn't enough, I think, to change the trajectory of his campaign. If anything, the young entrepreneur, Vivek Ramaswamy, was the winner, I would say, because he got the most attention. He had the best zingers, I suppose you'd say, and he seemed to enjoy it the most. And that's probably because he was under the least pressure.
He painted himself as the non-political figure, kind of in a similar way to how Donald Trump paints himself, as not being part of the political establishment, not having a super PAC behind him. Well, let's have a look at one of the explosive clashes that he had with Chris Christie.
What's a skinny guy with an odd last name doing up here was Barack Obama, and I'm afraid we're dealing with the same type of amateur standing on stage tonight.
Come over and give me a hug. Give me a hug just like you did to Obama.
The same type of amateur.
And you'll help elect me just like you did to Obama, too. Give me that
the same type of amateur.
Hold on. Governor Haley, would you like to respond? Are you bought and paid for?
What I would like to say is the fact that I think this is exactly why Margaret Thatcher said, if you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman.
What did you make of that, Adam Creighton? How do you think Nikki Haley went?
Look, she did okay, although I think the Margaret Thatcher quote's been used so many times in political debates, it's a little old now. But I think you're right to dwell on that exchange with Vivek. I mean, he represents the Trump wing of the Republican Party, and he was really the only representative of that wing on the stage. And I think that's why they all attacked him so much, whether it was Nikki Haley or Mike Pence, and of course Chris Christie, who actually spoke the most of anyone on the stage. So yeah, look, I mean, the 2 wings were on display. On most issues, there weren't.
What do you think about Donald Trump and what he had to say? Well, Donald Trump had this rival interview with Tucker Carlson on Twitter, the platform formerly known as Twitter, now known as X. I didn't watch his. Did he have anything interesting to say, Donald Trump, in his interview?
Well, look, I mean, I watched the first third of it, and frankly, it was a little strange. They talked about Jeffrey Epstein for quite a bit, which is rather bizarre. It's hardly a bread and butter issue as to whether he killed himself in his jail cell. They talked about William Barr's autobiography. Look, it was, they disparaged other journalists, former Fox presenters and so forth. So look, it was a rather strange interview, but it did get more than 80 million views, which is extraordinarily high. Now, those views don't necessarily correspond to someone watching the whole thing, but nevertheless, it gives you an idea of the magnitude of people that were tuning in. And of course, Donald Trump chose the release time at exactly the same time as the debate. So it's fair to say many more people watched the Tucker interview than watched the Fox debate. So look, I think Trump would be feeling pretty good.
Yep. All right. Adam Creighton, thank you very much for staying up so late to join us tonight.
Thanks, Sharri.